You may recognise this next speaker from his recent reels. Former military man and generation identity, but always a nationalist. The theme for his speech today will be English nationalism, which I'm happy to hear myself as well. Big welcome onto the stage for our Southwest Regional Organiser, Mike Lynton.
Right, good afternoon, everybody. My heart did sink a little bit when Kenny came in to say that the venue were trying to shut us down, but those hopes were quickly rose up again when I found out that we were staying here. And I want to begin by thanking you all for coming here today. Your support and kindness mean more to me than words can ever say. And I'd like to put on a special thank you again to the organisers for making this happen, the venue for keeping it open, the staff for providing the not so pastry-like food that you're eating, and of course my wife for always putting up with my antics. So, I'll be honest, I do feel a sense of imposter syndrome, holding such a senior position, and to hear such kind words both online and off can sometimes be overwhelming. But that feeling reminds me of something that I love about nationalism. It's the bringing together of people like nothing else. No other movement unifies men and women of all backgrounds, trades, and class. And over the last 10 years, I've made friendships and forged bonds that I know will last a lifetime. Because nationalism breaks down those barriers. It builds trust. And it creates experiences that only the passive observer at home can dream about. And so I stand here before you, not as a superior, but as an equal. Shoulder to shoulder, friend to friend. Together we will win through our dedication and our shared blood. And that's one thing that's been bringing people together recently, through the Raising of the Colours campaign. Patriots have been raising them since the middle of summer now. And the reason why is because they feel like they've lost their identity and they've lost their pride. And whilst the leftist media are trying to debate how many, there certainly was a sixth figure that marched through London the other week. And if you were to ask them why, they would probably say they felt unhappy. And if you ask why they felt that way, they might say that they don't know. And then you could ask a further question. Well, where did you feel like you lost it along the way? Now, they might say 1997. They could say the Boris wave or Windrush. But they all agreed that they want it back. And so I would like to say a few words today on what they feel like they're missing. And I will say it as plain as I can. I'm not just white. I am English. You see, that word white has never sat right with me. And those words have always felt uncomfortable to utter, and as I've got older, I've started to realise why. It sounds foreign. It belongs to a group of people who were cast across an ocean, stripped of their names and homes, and delivered a colour. Germans became white. Poles became white. The Irish became white. Now, see, that label may suit the exile, but it doesn't suit me, and it shouldn't suit you. For we are not post-Europeans. Our bones lie in the soil of these islands. Our names are carved into rivers and stones, and our blood has watered every village green. To be English is not to tick a box on a census paper. To be English is to inherit, to belong, to have a homeland, and to live in that story that your fathers wrote for you and that you will write for your children. And it's a beautiful story. One that's been going on for thousands of years and has been passed down through songs, plays, and poems. And so they accuse us of saying that we want an all-white Britain. But that shows they do not understand what nationalism really is. For if London were filled tomorrow with 60% Swedes, it would no longer be London. It would be Stockholm-on-Thames. So it's not about whiteness as such. It's about a belonging, a heritage, and a homeland. You see, white is an umbrella. It might be descriptive, but it's not definitive. And I will not rally under an umbrella. I will rally under a banner, and that banner is a St. George's cross. And so I will admit that when I travel to continental Europe, I do feel a sensation of awe. To read Greek philosophy and drive German cars, to visit French cathedrals. Trying to picture our shared European history is the same sensation as looking up at the stars at a clear night sky. It's endless and full of wonder. But our awe is not home. For when I bring my eyes down from the sky to the ground beneath my feet, I am home. I am surrounded by my people. But none of these feats or feelings of admiration justify the illegal immigrants living in our hotels. No invention of a Dane justifies the rape of girls en masse by Pakistanis. And no hard-working foreigner is the justification for our demographic replacement. But unlike them, my children will be English because their father and their mother are English. And our lineage stretches back unbroken through centuries. It's written into our DNA as an absolute fact. No piece of paper can grant that. No politician can erase it, and no communist can rewrite it. It stays true, objectable, and immovable. For the truth remains absolute. No matter what anyone says or thinks, no matter the lazy X argument made by a midwit that's watched too much BBC, being English isn't a Netflix casting choice. It's not for foreigners to borrow and play dress-up in. And you've probably seen some of those historical dramas lately. Half the cast looked like they took a wrong turning at the Lagos airport before ending up on the scenes of King and Conqueror. But being English is something that you're called upon to uphold. This is why I take pride in what my people have done. It is as if pride is only allowed for the individual, never the family, the tribe, or the nation. You see, that's the mark of individualism. Atomized thought. The idea that man is a floating creature, owing nothing, inheriting nothing, belonging nowhere. But I'm not that kind of man. I believe we do inherit things, absolutely glorious things and burdens alike. Sometimes we live well because of the virtues of our fathers, and sometimes not so well because of their sins. But when I see a thatched cottage, I don't see architecture. I see continuity. And when I walk across a stone bridge, I don't see engineering. I see men who thought of me, though they never knew my name. And in the future, we will align today's arrangements with the historic reality of our folk, through devolution into clear federal settlements for the homelands of the different peoples of Britain. And that's why I spit at the term white British. It's inherently divisive, it's bureaucratic, and it's designed to say that we're all British. It doesn't matter where you come from, fill out a bit of paper and it's yours. Well, not all whites are British, but all true Britons are white. And it was the left that invented this paradigm between white and non-white. But it's time that we step outside of it and become unassailable. And that is why our enemies despise the word. The leftist journalist hates it because it can't be spun. The online grifter hates it because it can't be sold. And the cowardly politician hates it because it can't be softened. Well, we will not soften down our identity. We will not dilute our nationalism. For we are English, and we will remain English. We will stay this way, committed, steadfast in preserving our unique culture and heritage. The regime is trying to blur this, hiding behind categories like white British, hoping to smudge away our people into a statistic. But the eye doesn't lie, nor does reality. Ask any mother who fears for her daughter as she walks home of an evening. Ask any pensioner who's had his high street taken away from him. They know, they can see, and they can feel. And we, in the face of these attempts, stand firm in our commitment to our English identity, one which is becoming increasingly underrepresented by committees, quangos, and the changing faces of our towns and cities. But the old insult has lost its power. Racist, they would shout. And more of our people are replying with, so what? That's the shift that they cannot control. It's no longer a weapon. that they can use that works. And when the enemy cannot shame you, he cannot control you. So let me repeat myself. I am not just white, I am English. And so many of you are listening too. And so many more are Scots, Welsh, Irish and Cornish. And despite our differences, we call these islands home. And we recognise each other as fellow Britons, not enemies anymore. We are no longer fighting for an abstraction. We do not fight for a colour chart. We fight for our land, our blood and our folk against the genocidal Westminster, the race-hating media and the wannabe revolutionary stick figures you see outside. And if anyone doesn't like it, well, tough. They've had 80 years of trying to tell us otherwise, and look what it got them. A country they don't even recognise and a people they can't even control. Well, we'll be taking it from here. Thanks very much.